Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 2, which is entitled The Cosmic Manifestation. Chapter 6, puruṣāvayavair confirmed, and this morning the text is text 27. We're very fortunate to have Her Grace Gita Devi Dasi Gita from ISKCON Atlanta to give the class. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
It's all yours, Mataji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraid. Nashtraprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Text number 27. Gatayo matayaścaiva prāyaścittaṁ samarpaṇam puruṣāvayavair sambhārāḥ sambhṛtā mayā. Gatayaha, progress to the ultimate goal or Viṣṇu. Matayaha, worshipping the demigods. Cha, as also. Eva, certainly. Prāyaścittaṁ, compensation. Samarpaṇam, ultimate offering. Purusha, the personality of Godhead. Avayavair, from the parts of the body of the personality of Godhead. Ete, these. Sambhārāḥ, the ingredients. Sambhṛtā were arranged. Mayā, by me. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus, I had to arrange all these necessary ingredients and paraphernalia of sacrifice from the personal bodily parts of the personality of Godhead. By invocation of the demigods' names, the ultimate goal, Viṣṇu, was gradually attained, and thus compensation and ultimate offering were complete. Purport. In this verse, special stress is given to the person of the Supreme Lord and not to his impersonal Brahmajyoti as being the source of all supplies. Narayana, the Supreme Lord, is the goal of sacrificial results, and therefore the Vedic hymns are ultimately meant for attaining this goal. Human life is thus made successful by pleasing Narayana and getting entrance into the direct association of Narayana in the spiritual kingdom of Vaikuntha. Om Agyana Thimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Translation once again. Thus I had to arrange all these necessary ingredients and paraphernalia of sacrifice from the personal bodily parts of the personality of Godhead. By invocation of the demigods' names, the ultimate goal, Viṣṇu, was gradually attained, and thus compensation and ultimate offering were complete. What I was able to see from this verse, as well as the purport of Srila Prabhupada, it's very, very clear that the most important part is ultimate goal. Most people in this material world either do not have a goal, or even if they do, it's mostly a material goal. But from here, we can understand from the Srimad Bhagavatam that the ultimate goal is Viṣṇu. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 9, Krishna tells Arjuna, Yagnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tad artham karma kaunteya mukta sangaha samachara. He's giving us the goal. He's giving us the purpose of performing sacrifice. He says, work done as sacrifice for Viṣṇu has to be performed. He doesn't say, you may perform if you feel like you perform. No. He uses that very strong word, has. That means whatever we do needs to be as a sacrifice for pleasing Lord Viṣṇu. Otherwise, work causes bondage. No one likes to be bound up. Everyone wants to be free. So if we want to avoid bondage, if we want liberation, then all that we do has to be done as a sacrifice for Viṣṇu. And Srila Prabhupada also talks about this in the purport. He says, Viṣṇu or Narayana is the Supreme Lord, and he is the goal of all sacrifices. You see, yagna, sacrifice is called yagna, and another name of Lord Viṣṇu is yagna. He is to be satisfied. Now, just as, the doctor prescribes different medications for different diseases, similarly, the Supreme Lord has given us different sacrifices for different yugas, different ages. Kriteya dhyayato Viṣṇu. In Satya Yuga, the sacrifice is meditation for thousands of years. Tretayam yajatau makaya. In Treta Yuga, it is a fire sacrifice. Dwapar Yuga, it is elaborate worship in the temples. Kalautad Hari Kirtana. In Kali Yuga, the same benefit can be received or achieved just by chanting the holy names of the Lord. In fact, Krishna, when he came down more than 500 years ago as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave us the prescription that in Kali Yuga, Harinam, 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 eva kevalam. Only way is to chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Why such a simple process in Kali Yuga? Because people in Kali Yuga are short-lived, quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky. This is what Bhagavatam says. So we don't have either the time or the energy or the enthusiasm, to do meditation or fire sacrifice, etc. But this is a simple process. And the scriptures tell us that this Mahamantra has the potency of all the Vedic mantras, all of them. And today's verse is teaching us that human life can become successful by pleasing Narayana. And that will lead us to enter into Vaikuntha. So many times we've heard Kuntha means anxiety. Vaikuntha means no anxiety. So if we want to go to a place where there is no anxiety, which is Vaikuntha, then we need to please Lord Viṣṇu. And that should be the ultimate goal of human life. Srila Prabhupada also mentions, even in the purport, he's talking about the sacrifice. And this process is given by Supreme Lord himself, so that we can be successful in this human form of life. He explained it, and he even showed as a personal example. When he came down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he showed us how we can reach Vaikuntha. And the easiest method is to please Guru and Krishna. How? That's $1 million question. It's given in the scriptures. The simple way is to follow their instructions. You see, we are very, very fortunate that we are born in Kali Yuga. Imagine if we were born in Satya Yuga, we would have to do meditation for at least 30,000 years, as per the scriptures. Here, if we sit down even for a few minutes for meditation, there's so much disturbance. The mind is disturbing, the senses are disturbing, the situations are disturbing. Everything is a disturbance. So very fortunate we are in Kali Yuga because the easiest process is given to us in this age. No need for fire sacrifice, meditation, nothing. Just chant the holy names and enter into Vaikuntha. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in his purport that human life will become successful just by pleasing the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord has already given us the information, the knowledge in Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, how to please him. Just follow his instructions. Now, when we please the Supreme Lord, then he will reveal himself. We cannot become self-realized just by reading books or hearing some lectures. No. Excuse me. No. We may have knowledge, but that will be only theoretical. To become self-realized, we need the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Now, some people have knowledge, but they do nothing about it. And then that knowledge remains theoretical. There's no self-realization at all. And in the process, what happens, just taking on more knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge, then they end up speculating about God. Oh, in my opinion, this is Supreme Lord. According to me, this so-and-so is the Supreme Lord. No. If we want to please the Supreme Lord, then we need to follow his instructions. And for that, we need very good sadhana, which means spiritual discipline. Don't we follow this? Aren't we disciplined when, we go to school, college, job, business, whatever it may be? We have to be disciplined. So the same applies for spirituality also. We need to follow spiritual discipline. That is very, very important. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, Krishna says, one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. This is so easy for us to do in Kali Yuga. Very quickly we get deviated. Something else attracts us, then spirituality goes down the drain. Something else, okay. So there is this hopping off and on from materialism to spirituality and back and forth and back and forth. Krishna says one should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. So who's the culprit? The mind. Everything happens in the mind, right? All our desires manifest in our mind. And then when those desires become very firm, very strong, they lead to words and then to actions. So Krishna is saying that we need to control our senses by the mind. And the best way to control the mind is mantra meditation, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Even Srila Prabhupada in his books, he's talking about determination and patience. There is great perseverance required. And it's not very easy, so we should not get discouraged. Oh, I've been chanting for so many years and nothing is happening. That's okay. At least we are on the right path. At least we are trying. All we need is full-hearted enthusiasm and determination. And that becomes easy when we have very good devotee association. If you all remember, we've heard that story of the sparrow, the determination of the sparrow. Sparrow had laid the eggs and the ocean had, wiped away the eggs inside. And the sparrow was really upset. And she demanded the ocean to return her eggs. But the ocean would not. See the determination of the sparrow. She said, I am going to dry you up. Imagine a sparrow trying to dry up the ocean. Can anyone do that? It's not possible. But look at her determination. She went and she, with her beak, she would, take a drop of water and go and throw it on the side. Again, go take a drop of water and throw it on the side, trying to dry up the ocean. When Garuda, the king of birds, saw her determination, he came to her help. And he demanded the ocean to return the eggs of the sparrow. Otherwise, he himself is going to dry up the ocean. That scared the ocean a lot, because the ocean knows the potency of Garuda, and the eggs were returned. You see the determination? God helps those who help themselves. So if we are not going to help ourselves, how can Krishna come to help us? You see? So when we are performing bhakti yoga, it may appear to be a very difficult job. It is not easy to chant every day. It is not easy to wake up early in the morning. It is not easy to follow the 4 regulative principles. It's not easy to find time to read books. But if we try to follow this process with great determination, Krishna will surely help. But we need to help ourselves first. You see, the main conclusion of this verse is, in any endeavor, we need great determination. Even the desires that are born in our minds, they are born from determination, right? The desire is born because we want to enjoy. We want to get more materially entangled, and we want to, come back into the cycle of birth and death. That's why we don't control the mind. We let the desires flourish in our minds. You see? And then the mind thinks, maybe if I get this, maybe if I get that, I will be happy. So that determination to enjoy keeps us in this material world. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that if we have unfulfilled desires at the time of death, we will be born again in this material world to fulfill those unfulfilled desires. Isn't that dangerous? And we need to catch our minds. We need to make sure we don't have material desires that, lead to hankering to fulfill them. Because you see, death can come at any moment. And at the time of death, if we have all these unfulfilled desires in our minds, boom, we come back into this material world. Do we want to? Do we want to come back in this material world where there is no permanent happiness, where there is birth, disease, old age, and death, where there are 7 kinds of miseries, where there is anxiety? That decision we have to take. The purpose of human life is not to increase our material desires, but to control those desires. You see, we are human beings, so there will be desires. But then we have got the philosophical intelligence, which the animals do not have, to understand the ultimate goal of human form of life. It is to break this cycle and go to Vaikuntha, where there is no anxiety. Otherwise, the result will be taking thousands of births in this material world. So, as a human being, we should understand the special significance of this form of life. It is meant to conquer all our desires and become pure. Until and unless our mind, our senses, our intelligence, our body, if all these are not purified, we don't become qualified to go to Vaikuntha. Now, Since we have this strong intelligence, we can decide, what do we want to do? We want to control and conquer these desires, or remain entangled in this network of desires. That, okay, let whatever comes, let them come. I'll deal with them when they come. Regularly, the mind needs to be disciplined and trained. Srila Prabhupada says the mind is like a child. Don't we have to discipline the child? Otherwise, the child is going to do whatever the child wants to do. No homework, no going to school, only playing, destroying toys, whatever. No. The child needs to be disciplined right from young age and needs to be taught what is right, what is wrong, what's important, what's not important. So, if we really want to break the cycle of birth and death, then we need to stop this repetition of birth and death. It's not that this cycle of birth and death is only in some countries. No, it's everywhere in all the countries. It's not that in some countries people are very happy and in some countries they are not. No, there is suffering in every country, in every city, every town, every village. Everywhere there is dukhalayam. That's what Krishna tells Arjuna. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. There is misery, and this world is temporary. So why are we trying to build our life here in this material world? It's like a sand castle. The waves will come and they will wipe it away and gone. Then we build another castle, and that also is wiped away. This is what material life is. It is temporary. So if we want to break the cycle, this material cycle of birth and death, then we need great determination. There needs to be focus. Focus on Krishna consciousness. Focus on bhakti yoga. Focus on conquering the mind. Focus on conquering the desires. And if we have great determination to follow this process of bhakti yoga very seriously, then we will be successful. Ye yatha ma prapadyante tamstatheva bhajamyam. Krishna says, as one surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. So if we really want the Supreme Lord to help us, we need to first help ourselves. Now, for great determination, there needs to be enthusiasm. So how do we get enthusiasm? We get it from someone who has it. So we look for enthusiastic devotees who are very enthusiastic about bhakti yoga. They're very enthusiastic about chanting. We associate with them. Then one day, their enthusiasm will rub off on us. You see, Srila Prabhupada says enthusiasm is a sign of faith, shraddha. Now that faith is in the beginning stages, it's very tender. It can be easily twisted or turned or, put an end to it. It's very soft, very tender. It's like, I believe in Krishna, but Hare Krishna? I don't know. But that faith, that little faith that we have, that there is God, there is a Supreme Lord. And according to the scriptures, his name is Krishna. And that faith can be nurtured in association of devotees. Association is very, very important because association can change our hearts. It has changed hearts of so many. When Srila Prabhupada came to the US, what did he do? He just sat under a tree and chanted Hare Krishna. And so many hearts were melted just by hearing the powerful sound vibrations from a pure devotee of the Lord. It wasn't something very complicated that no one could follow. He did not, sitting under a tree, he did not, whoever gathered to hear him, he did not say, come on, you have to do this and you have to do that and then give up this and give up. No, nothing at all. All he did was chant Hare Krishna. And that sound vibrations from a pure devotee immediately melted the hearts of all those who gathered there in that park listening to him. And gradually, Srila Prabhupada gave us his books, his purports, which are like, you can say, atom bombs. They can destroy ignorance. The ignorance that is there within us since so many lifetimes. What is the ignorance? I am this body. I am never going to die. I'm going to live forever. And this body is meant to eat, sleep, and be merry. This is all ignorance. And Srila Prabhupada, through his books, he has given us the process to reach the ultimate goal of human life. We don't want to do the same thing that the animals do: eat, sleep, mate, and defend. These are the only 4 things they do. We have better intelligence. If we just engage in these 4 activities, eat, sleep, mate, and defend, we are no different than the animals. We've heard this so many times. But have we processed it? See, in life, we hear so many times the same thing over and over again, but do we stop and think about it? What did I hear? Like today's class, we have taken this very important verse about ultimate goal of life, which is Viṣṇu. Then it behooves us to process this in our minds, talk to other devotees and get their opinion about it. What have they realized? And that is the churning of the heart, where gradually the determination will become more and more firm. You see? This is how we gradually become, or we can say we can fortify our determination. Determination doesn't come just like that, sitting and, cooling off. Or no, I have to make that effort. Follow the Bhagavad Gita, understand Srimad Bhagavatam in association of devotees, and put it into practice. It's not easy, but it's not very difficult either. We just have to make up our mind. What do we want? Do we want the ultimate goal of life, which is Viṣṇu, and go back to Vaikuntha, achieve him? Or do we are happy here? This material world seems to be like a clubhouse. I'm enjoying. I have everything that I want, and I don't mind coming back. I remember many years ago when I was giving a class on Bhagavad Gita. So I was just after the class asking a question, everybody was present, what is your goal in life? And you won't believe, one of them said, my goal is to become a bulldog in my next life. That is a state of consciousness. Because he was so attached to bulldogs, he was fascinated by bulldogs, that he wanted to become one. Little did he know, or did he understand, that once we develop that consciousness, that is what our state of consciousness will be at the time of death. And Krishna says, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajat ante kalevaram tam tam eveti kanteya saddhatad bhava bhavita. Whatever state of mind we are at the time of death, to that state we will attain, Krishna says, without fail. So if that is his state of consciousness, Krishna is going to say tathastu. Unfortunately, when the human life is, wasted and one becomes an animal in the next life, then that living entity has to go through the whole evolutionary cycle before that living entity, that spirit soul, can get a human form. Human form is very, very rare. It is not meant for just enjoying the senses. It is meant to control the senses, control the mind, use our philosophical intelligence, and reach the ultimate goal of life. That is the purpose of human form of life, and that is what this verse today is talking about. And Bhagavad Gita clearly gives us the knowledge by which we can follow this process to reach that ultimate goal. Today is a very auspicious day because it is the disappearance day of Sri Ishvara Puri, the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself. So since today is that auspicious day, I would like to speak a little bit about Sri Ishvara Puri so that we can understand the importance of a bona fide spiritual master. Spiritual master is required for us to be successful on this spiritual path. There's no other way. In the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he describes that that Ishvara Puri was like he was the first sprout of desire tree of devotion, which was manifested by Sri Madhavendra Puri, and who, of course, was the spiritual master of Sri Ishvara Puri. And Sri Ishvara Puri, he helped, develop this sprout into a sapling. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the disciple of Sri Ishvara Puri, he came as the gardener himself. And he changed that sapling into a trunk of an enormous tree, like a desire tree of devotion. Sri Ishvara Puri, he appeared on a full moon day, and he showed us how to serve the Guru, his Guru, Sri Madhavendra Puri, very faithfully. That's an important lesson for us to learn, for those of us who have accepted a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual teacher, how to serve our Guru. Best way is to follow the instructions. That can help us to reach the ultimate goal of life. Now, Sri Ishvara Puri, he visited many holy places. And when he came to Navadvip, he stayed with Sri Gopinath Acharya. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna himself, was a student. He was known as Nimai Pandit, and he was absorbed in learning more and more. And at that time, Sri Ishvara Puri, he came there in a disguise, so no one could see who he really was. He is always absorbed in mellows of devotion to Krishna. That was his state of consciousness. Of course, being in the strict disciplic succession parampara is very dear to Krishna, and he was an ocean of mercy. A bona fide spiritual master is always an ocean of mercy. But for us to take advantage of that ocean of mercy, we need to get qualified. So Sri Ishvara Puri, after visiting different places, he came to the house of Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, who's none other than Mahaviṣṇu. And Advaita Acharya was engaged in worshipping Krishna. So Sri Ishvara Puri quietly came and sat down. And Advaita Acharya looked at him and said, "Who are you?" He said, "I have a feeling you are a Vaishnava sannyasi." But Sri Ishvara Puri said, No, I'm just a low-class Shudra. I've just come to see your lotus feet. Now, in that assembly was Mukunda Datta, and he understood who Sri Ishvara Puri is. Even though he's saying he's a low-class Shudra, definitely not. So he started describing Krishna's pastimes. When he started the Krishna Katha, and when Sri Ishvara Puri heard the Krishna Katha, he fell to the ground, and the whole ground was wet with his tears just by hearing Krishna Katha, and everybody present there was dumbstruck. Kundadatta wanted to show this is real Sri Ishvara Puri, and Advaita Acharya immediately went and embraced him. And everyone could understand that this Sri Ishvara Puri is not an ordinary personality. He is the dearmost disciple of Sri Madhavendra Puri. One day when Sri Ishvara Puri was walking, he saw Nimai Pandit coming. And just by looking at the beauty of Nimai Pandit, who's none other than Krishna himself, he was mesmerized. Excuse me. And he thought, this personality must be very divine. So he asked him, what is your name? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Nimai Pandit, he offered his obeisances, and whoever was around, they said, oh, this is Nimai Pandit. And Ishvara Puri said, oh, so you are that most famous Nimai Pandit. And he felt very happy to meet him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately bowed down to him and invited him to his house. He said, please come to my house. I would like to serve you prasadam. I would like to serve you lunch. And Sri Ishvara Puri went with him. And as soon as he sat down, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed his feet and served him lunch. And after lunch, they discussed Krishna Katha. And while both of them hearing Krishna Katha, telling Krishna Katha to each other and hearing, they were filled with ecstatic love for Krishna. Now see, Krishna, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is talking about himself, giving his own Katha and feeling ecstatic love. This is association. When we meet with devotees, we should talk about Krishna, Krishna Katha. That is how we will churn love in our hearts for the Supreme Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Sri Ishvara Puri one time in Gaya, and he embraced him, and they both were drenched with tears of love. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to Ishvara Puri, and he said, please help me to cross this material existence. See, the Lord is teaching us by his own example how we should use this human form of life to reach that ultimate goal, to cross over this material ocean, to come out of this material world and go to Vaikuntha. And Sri Ishvara Puri, he understood that this is the Supreme Lord, because in his dream, he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, setting a good example, showed us that we need to accept a bona fide spiritual master. And so he approached Sri Ishvara Puri and begged him to give him initiation, to accept him as a disciple. And Sri Ishvara Puri also to set an example that the bona fide acharya, bona fide teacher must accept a qualified disciple, and he initiated him. Then again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu invited his guru to his house for lunch, and he served his guru very nicely. He smeared sandalwood paste on him. He put a flower garland on him around his neck. You see? This is service to the guru. It's not possible to receive love of Krishna without service to guru. No, we cannot bypass the guru at all. We need to serve. Only then we will get the mercy. Now one may say, but my guru is far away. How do I serve? By following the instructions. The guru is, Krishna says, Within the heart, I am as the super soul Paramatma, and without, I am the bona fide spiritual master. So the spiritual master knows what we are doing, knows what's in our mind, is aware of all the desires that we have in our minds, knows how we are progressing, if we are progressing on the spiritual path. He knows, are we chanting attentively? It's only when the Guru will see our sincere efforts that he will bless us so that we can make quick progress towards our ultimate goal, which is Krishna Prema, to go back to Vaikuntha. So here, from the example of Sri Ishvara Puri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can see how to serve the Guru. It is said that the birthplace of Sri Ishvara Puri is within the town of Halyahor, which is near Kanchrapara station. So today is that auspicious day of disappearance day of Sri Ishvara Puri, the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'm going to read today's verse once again. Thus, I had to arrange all these necessary ingredients and paraphernalia of sacrifice from the personal bodily parts of the personality of Godhead. By invocation of the demigods' names, the ultimate goal, Viṣṇu, was gradually attained, and thus compensation and ultimate offering were complete. So I'm going to end here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Very nice, wonderful lecture about the things that we should be about as disciples, examples that you gave, and then, of course, in the end, talking about Sri Ishvara Puri, his connection with his own spiritual master, Madhavendra Puri, and then becoming the spiritual master for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to help Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So this is wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much for a very nice lecture. So this is the time devotees can unmute themselves. I see Mother Jackie has already done that, so please unmute yourself and ask your question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'd like to know, I'm not clear exactly who was Lord Viṣṇu.
Okay. Yes. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a whole chapter which describes about Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, according to the scriptures. Like, for instance, the Brahma Samhita says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha, that Krishna is a Parama Ishvara. He is the God of all. He is even the Supreme Lord of all the demigods. Then we learn even in another verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, which says, Ete chamsa kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. So it says that Krishna, you yourself are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So from scriptures, even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwara, that I am the Maha Ishvara, that everything emanates from me, all the demigods, all the material, spiritual planets, everything. So now that we know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is the cause of all incarnations and expansions. So Krishna, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, he first expands himself into Lord Balaram. So all these expansions and incarnations, they have the same potency as the Supreme Lord himself. It's just that Krishna is the original and all other are his expansions or incarnations. Like, you can take an example of a candle. So there's an original candle which is lit, and then from that, the other candles are lit. But the original stays the original. So that is how we can understand the difference between Krishna and his other expansions and incarnations. So Krishna expands as Balaram, and then the Chaturvyuha, like there is, four quadruple expansions, and then there is Mahavishnu. So Krishna expands as Mahavishnu, and then Mahavishnu again expands as Garbhodakshay Viṣṇu, that again expands as Shirodakshay Viṣṇu. So there are different kinds of Viṣṇu. So Viṣṇu is an expansion of Krishna who comes from Krishna, but is also considered the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is no difference, but the original is Krishna. So I hope that helps, Jackie.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Aditi Lakin, Devi Dasi.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Please
on
accept
behalf
my
of the Prabhupada.
others to Prabhupada.
Yes, Mataji, wonderful class. Thank you so much for this beautiful class and about Ishwarapuri also. I have one confusion. I mean, how to think, how to process this. I'll give you. Recently, I heard lecture of Prabhupada. In fact, yesterday night also I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture, where in the lecture, I think some child came with an ice cream or something. And then Prabhupada started saying, "Huh? You're having ice cream? This is maya. You should not have ice cream." Then he started laughing, and probably the child still wanted to have, and everyone started laughing. And he said, "Oh, this is how Maya says, come, come, get me, get me." And then, you're trapped in that. So this is one aspect I heard. Whereas some places Prabhupada also says that devotees can eat prasadam sumptuously, and that is not a problem. So how, obviously, when my daughter heard about this, her eyes became like saucer. She was thinking, what? No ice cream, Prabhupada is saying? So how do we address this? How do I go ahead with this, Mataji?
So it's very important to understand time, place, and circumstance, and the intention behind what Prabhupada is saying. He was probably joking with that little boy or little child who had the ice cream. So we should not take that literally and think, oh, we can't eat ice cream. No, we need to understand, like even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like you mentioned, have sumptuous prasadam. But we also need to understand Bhagavad Gita says, do not eat too much, too little. Do not sleep too much, too little. So there has to be balance. So just because, Prabhupada says you can eat sumptuous prasadam doesn't mean we fill our belly right up to the neck and then we are not even able to do anything and we want to sleep now because we've eaten too much. So there has to be control of the senses. But as far as ice cream is concerned, yes, if it is made at home, it is offered to the Lord, yes, you can eat. But then, again, it has to be under control, right? You cannot eat a gallon of ice cream and think, oh, it's prasadam, so let me eat the whole gallon. So the lecture that you heard, Prabhupada was probably having fun with that little child.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. And Mataji, one more thing. So you also told about this point where we should not have any desire to go back to Godhead. If we have even a small inclination or desire about anything, then we will again come back here in this material world.
No, I did not say that. I said we should not have material desires because
I'm talking
have
about
material. Going back to Godhead is not a material desire.
No, not that. I'm saying material desire only, I was saying. Yes. So this reminded me, the Jayapataka Maharaj has told, I heard this pastime of him, that one of the devotees, his disciples, they wanted to touch his feet. So Jayapataka Maharaj said that, of course, Maharaj cannot let ladies touch his feet. So then then they were so upset and very sad. Then he called them, no, please come and touch. For this you don't need to come back again to this material world. Then I will also have to come back because you did not touch my feet.
That is just a pastime, yes. Yes. It is Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. I was so engrossed in, yes, the material desires. That is what Prabhupada also says. If we have a lot of material desires in our mind, and if that is what we are, if they are not fulfilled, and at the time of death, if there are any unfulfilled desires, we will definitely come back, which makes us understand that we should try and avoid storing our material desires in our minds, that okay, after this I want this and I want that and that. No, that can be very dangerous. So but we can try to dovetail them in Krishna consciousness, but there are many material desires that cannot be dovetailed to Krishna consciousness, so we got to be very careful.
Mataji, it is very difficult because we are in family life. I mean, we do some planning. We don't do any much, but we still do. Like, okay, I will get my daughter get married. All those things are there. We cannot just say that, okay, fine, everything is in Krishna's hand, and okay, I won't think about anything. How does
You
that work?
can. Yeah, you can think about that. Yes, you have a daughter, you have to get her married. Not have to, but you want to. And so then make sure that your daughter is a good devotee, that she's chanting, she's hearing, she's reading, she's eating only Krishna prasadam. And plan, yes, I'm going to make my daughter a first-class devotee so that she understands the ultimate goal of life is Viṣṇu, Krishna. And I'm going to plan on getting her married to a devotee so that she continues her spiritual life, right? It's not that she has to give up her material aspirations, like to, get an MBA degree or become a doctor. No, she can still do that, but do it with Krishna in the center. So when we have, so then it doesn't become a material desire. You see, Srila Prabhupada always says, one should not have attachment to family, but affection. Attachment means we are only concerned about their material welfare, and affection means we are concerned about both material and spiritual. So that is what we want to aim for. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, Mataji. Thank you so much. Wonderfully explained. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
All glories to Prabhupada.
Thank you very much for the good questions, Mataji. And of course, you got very good answers also. Now we know attachment and affection and their definitions. Interesting. I was gonna, for the welfare of people who have been, in Krishna consciousness most recently, I was actually gonna ask that you comment about the distinction between Krishna and Viṣṇu. And then Jaki Mataji asked the question, who is Viṣṇu? So I didn't have to say it. It was funny. Just thinking about that. And then, the question came. Asked the first question also. So this is all Krishna's mercy and Guru's mercy. Hare Krishna. So any other questions? We are at the top of the hour now. Any final questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories
to Prabhupada.
I have two questions. One is Brahma, he was invoking demigods' name, even though he's getting everything from Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why he was invoking, the demigod's name?
Yes, that is what we have learned in Srimad Bhagavatam also, that whenever a sacrifice is performed, the demigods also get a part of the results of the sacrifice, and that's why their names are also chanted. But they all are aware that ultimately it's the Lord Viṣṇu that is the ultimate beneficiary of all the sacrifices. So they are aware, and so their names are chanted, just like even when Daksha was having a yagna, a fire sacrifice, so he invited the demigods to come to be part of it. But the just like Prabhupada says that the yagna kunda, in which the fire sacrifice takes place, that pit, whatever it's called, so that is considered to be the mouth of Lord Viṣṇu, and that's why his name is also Yagna. Another name of Viṣṇu is Yagna. So whatever is offered in that sacrifice, the ultimate beneficiary is Lord Viṣṇu, but the demigods also get a part of the benefit of that sacrifice. What is your other question?
Okay, Mataji. You said, how to control the child, how to discipline the child, and how to discipline the mind. As soon as you sit for chanting and you keep chanting and the mind goes here and there, and then you remember, oh, Gita Mataji was saying you have to concentrate. So mind just keeps going. So how do you discipline the mind?
Yes, Krishna gives this answer in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, because Arjuna also said the mind is, difficult to control what to do. So Krishna says by constant practice and detachment. These are the two things, constant practice and detachment. And even Srila Prabhupada says the mind will go away, no problem, bring it back. As soon as we realize, oh, I'm chanting, but I'm not hearing the sound vibrations, bring the mind back. That's how we discipline the mind. And when the mind will see that no matter how it's trying to go away, we are still pulling it back, then it'll get trained like a child gets trained, and then we'll get disciplined. So we have to just keep trying.
Okay, Mataji. And like you said, the bulldog story, I actually know a friend. He has a son-in-law and he has a dog. So he really pampers the dog and feeds them, washes them and everything. So when this father-in-law saw all that, he said, in my next life, I want to be that pet dog for my son-in-law. So that's so strange, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Quite interesting. People thinking that they want to be dogs in the next life. I won't comment about it. I'll just leave that alone. Hare Krishna. Any final questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
My beloved essences, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to the devotees on the call.
Hare
Very
Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
It was a very nice class. A lot of points to ponder upon, as always. Of course, the one that was about the dog was it always, we always remember that one very specifically because there are a lot of, instances and a lot of kind of pictures come online where they are there is some cute pet in the hand of some person and they are like, okay, I want to be that dog, so they are always hankering for that. Yeah, and I wanted to ask a question, more like a reminder, maybe. Uh, you were talking about bona fide disciple. So, I wanted you to describe the bona fide disciple.
Yes, it's human nature, excuse me, human nature to always consider oneself very qualified, that I'm perfect and there's nothing wrong with me. So when a devotee is looking for a bona fide spiritual master, one has to also see, am I qualified to be a disciple of a bona fide spiritual master? And so the qualifications we can test ourselves to see, first of all, am I ready to surrender? Am I ready to accept someone above me? Am I ready to accept the guru as one who can, help me control my spiritual life? So when that first mentality is there, then we know, yes, we are on the right path. Second is, am I ready to follow everything that the guru is going to tell me, all his instructions, follow his instructions, and understand that it is a spiritual master, the bona fide teacher, who can take me back to Vaikuntha. So then that is the qualification. But if we have, our nature is, no, how can I surrender? But I want a guru for name because my neighbor has it, or my friend has it, or someone else I know has a guru, so I need a guru too. Then that's not a qualification. So we first have to qualify ourselves before we approach. And of course, the bona fide guru will only accept a disciple who he thinks is qualified. And the first qualification is surrender. Does that make sense?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? If not, then thank you, Mother Gita, for such a wonderful and insightful lecture, reminding us about many things in devotional service. Jai. And thank you, devotees, for such good attendance to this lecture, starting the week like that in a very wonderful Krishna conscious way. So we wish you all good Krishna conscious dedication of the day, and of course the whole week and all time. You should be always thinking we're fortunate to be in Krishna consciousness, because we are. That is the truth. In the material world, the Krishna conscious person is the most fortunate. So with that, thank you all. Panchakalpatarubhishcha kripa sindhibhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vaishnav Thakur ki jai. Gaura Premanandi.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna.